They said, "What are you going to do with this drone?" Well, I guess I'll try this YouTube thing. What's up, Tube Watchers? Today we're going to be talking about the Mini 3 Pro from DJI and my first week experience with it as a complete beginner. So before we get into this video, tap the like button and let's get into my first flight and see how it went. So I first took off, learning how to fly side to side, got comfortable with that, decided to fly down the road, meet up with my mom and sister where they were going on their nightly walk. Keep in mind that it's past sunset at this point, so the quality is getting pretty bad here. And you can see that my sister's getting pretty frustrated. They're getting worried that I'm going to crash into them since they know that this just came in the mail literally an hour before this and I got it charged up. So that was it for day one. I basically was just learning how to fly it this night. I mean, it got dark pretty quick, so I didn't get to fly that much. Let's take it to day two and see what we did there. So here I was just doing a basic orbit. I was just trying to learn basically how to fly still at this point. This is only the second time I've flown it. And so I was just wrapping around my grandma's house trying to get a smooth shot if I could. It turned out pretty well, I believe. I was also walking right behind the drone, making sure that I wasn't going to crash into anything because I was pretty worried about this time still. I learned here that the remote controller gives you that like alert when you're coming up close to something, even when you're back multiple yards, it still gives you the alert. So then I went back to the open area behind my grandma's house and I started flying around in sport mode. In sport mode, there is no obstacle detection. So I'm flying manually at this point, totally. So then I take it up about 200 feet, I'd say, and I start going around in a slow motion, just trying to get a cool aerial video of my town. That was it for day two. I basically just flew it around my grandma's house, and then at my lunch break, I flew it up into the air and took it around up pretty high. That was pretty fun. At this point in time, I believed that I was the drone master and that flying a drone was going to be the easiest thing in the world. I had not come across any difficulties at this point, and I had also not encountered any videoing errors or any warnings through the drone app. So let's take it to day three, where I learned my first lesson in trying not to crash the drone. So here I was just basically saying what I was good at, trying to do another orbit shot around my girlfriend's house. All of a sudden I look up and I'm probably an inch away from smacking a branch. As you can tell, I just come to a stop real quick. I lower it down, and so that was it for day three. I'm starting to get a lot more drone anxiety at this point, considering I almost crashed into that tree. Let's take it to day four, where I get a little riskier. I'm trying to push my limits, trying to get rid of some of that drone anxiety, and let's see how that goes. So I decided to see the capabilities of the drone, and I flew it down my gravel road, trying to see how far I could get it before I started losing connection. And I reached about a little over a mile, and then here's when it started losing connection, very delayed response. So I decided to turn it around and bring it back. Then this is a clip of it doing the return to home sequence. This is the first time I've actually done the return to home button, and I wasn't so sure about it. I was ready to click cancel and land it on my own in case it wasn't going to land in the right spot. But it happened to land almost exactly where I took off. A little trick for this: when you take off, you've got to wait for it to set the home point, and it'll audibly tell you that the home point is set. When it says that, wherever it was, that is where it'll set the home point. So that was it for day four. I decided to test some of my limits, some of the drone's limits. I'm starting to trust the drone's features a lot more at this point. So let's move to day five. This day was a lot less exciting. I got home like right at sunset, so I didn't have much time to shoot. So I decided to take some pictures. Let's look at these pictures. So that was it for day 5, just a few pictures. But moving on to day 6, that was one of my best days, I believe. I'm just really happy with what came out. I don't know, the battery seemed to last a lot longer this night, so I got a lot more footage, it seems like. And here we went out on our Sonic run. I took off the drone while we were in the car. Don't worry, I was not driving. It's definitely probably illegal. I started filming the drive back. Then later on, we went out to Main Street when it got a little darker. I got a few cool videos of Main Street, and then I got this cool video of us walking on the side, and then this cool night shot when all the lights lit up down on Main Street. I thought it was pretty unique. So that was day 6, and I had a lot of fun that night. I had all these kids coming up to me, asking me if I was the one flying the drone. They were watching my screen, watching me fly. I had some of my friends drive by, and it was just a cool night to see everyone out there and how excited they were for me. Then we got to day 7, and we went on a bike ride. This is the day that I learned about overexposure. For some reason, my controller went out of auto, and I had no idea, and so I was completely confused. I had no idea that you had to change the shutter speed like you do on camera, so I didn't get hardly any footage on day 7, but I came back later and replicated what it was looking like when it was overexposed. So let's go look at that. So before, down at the bottom right, it said auto on the camera, and then all of a sudden it got changed to pro somehow. I had no idea what I was doing when we were riding bikes. I didn't have enough time to mess with it because we were trying to go on a bike ride. So later that night, I figured out that you can actually just change the shutter speed just like you would on a camera. For people who don't know, the shutter speed is how long the aperture opens up and lets light in. The bigger number actually allows less light in, making your picture less bright. So when it's bright out, a higher usually is better. That was it for day 7. So here's my week-long review of the Mini 3 Pro. If you're looking for a drone to fly for photography or videography, I would definitely purchase this one. It's a great beginner drone. I had no prior experience to drones, and this flight is just super stable for a beginner. It's easy to fly. I basically knew how to fly all the controls by the second day, only having 20 minutes experience the first night. So that was my first week with the Mini 3 Pro, having no prior experience. I had a lot of fun with this drone. So stay tuned on this channel, guys, because we've got a lot of upcoming ideas and plans, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe. Tap the bell if you want notifications of my next videos, and see you in the next one. Also, don't forget to tap the like, subscribe,